Previously on building Benny's movie park.
Maybe flipping it around a little bit like this. These guys right here are by far the prettiest. Here you go. This is starting to look so much better already. Look at that. Paint this the correct colors like that. Oh, that's actually cute. That is not bad. The shape is off, but I like it anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this brand new episode of Building Benny's Movie Park 2. With the finishing of the aquarium and the pirate area, you may be asking yourself what comes next. As I said earlier, I don't want to finish the alien area just yet. First, I want to fill up this corner here. I asked you guys, and well, a bunch of you commented Back to the Future, which I am a big fan of. So really, that seems like the best option right now. I particularly liked this comment about a boomerang coaster, with obviously it going back and forth kind of makes sense with the Back to the Future theme, so that's actually pretty fun. I suppose without any further ado, let's get straight into it. Here we are, guys. I can finally build a coaster again. That doesn't actually happen so often. So I want this to be the actual typical boomerang coaster because it's not that big and we don't have that much space, so that should be fine.
That is a boomerang coaster, right?
Let's start right here. We're gonna begin with the station, of course. Let's first begin with the lift hill, actually, because that obviously is on the back side of it. Here you go. This has to be pretty freaking high, actually, because it needs a lot of speed to actually make it. Let's first try something like that, nice and high. And this right here is where the difficult part starts. These coasters have a so-called cobra roll, which is going to be a bit tricky to build, but they are very cool, honestly. We'll just kind of have to see how that goes. Okay, then here it has to go kind of like that. This is truly gonna be trial and error once again. I never actually make complicated elements, so the worst thing is it kind of has to be symmetrical as well, because otherwise it's just gonna look dumb. But that just makes it so much harder. You know what? This may not even be that bad. Then we're gonna have a real nice large piece right here. And then this is where there should be another loop, but I don't think that's gonna fit. I am becoming a little bit skeptical about this design, but I guess we'll see if it works in just a sec. So these two are actually supposed to kind of end up in the same spot here, which they're not. That may be a problem. Then before we can test it, we first actually need to put these on reverse incline shuttle mode. That means it first goes backwards up the chain lift and then to the front and then, you know. So well, let's have a seat and see if this guy actually works, because I'm not so sure. Okay, so I've noticed that this is not nearly high enough, because as you can see in the real life examples, this is just not really it. I'm gonna have to rebuild this entire thing and move it a little bit to the right. I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I did move the whole thing to the left or the right from the other side, but it did end up looking a bit different. As you can see, this second loop goes through the cobra roll, which is not really usual, but it looks fun. And guys, somehow I actually managed to get the cobra roll to be pretty smooth. I found out that it's one of the hardest elements to build, apparently, which is typical me doing something without knowing what it actually is. But here, dude, check this out. First it goes down really fast like this, and then here is the element. There you go. That is pretty smooth, isn't it? And then there's the second loop, and of course you go up here until at the end you actually go back the same way. It's pretty straightforward, or well, straight backward. As you can see, it's identical to the real thing, except it's not, because it's completely different, but it's fine. I mostly just think this one looks very cool from outside. Really? That is the main reason why I wanted to make this coaster. It just looks badass. But then now let's get into the layout. But before we're getting into the layout, first, if you want to support this channel an extra bit, consider using my special code Benji at your next checkout for Robux, because then I get a small commission from Roblox themselves, which is lovely. And you get to support this channel with no extra cost. More information is down below in the description. Then now let's get into the layout. Obviously, we're going to be making custom supports, so as you can see, this looks a lot cleaner. I must say it is a tad cramped, maybe in here, but we can kind of work around this whole thing potentially. However, maybe first I should talk about the actual idea I have. In Back to the Future, there's of course the building with the clock, which is just iconic. I thought that could work for the station, and then here we can just kind of make the square. Which, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. This is just temporary, but say the queue line is gonna go kind of like this, then underneath the track, right here all the way around it. And then obviously this is going to be the interior of the house, so I don't know what that's going to look like just yet, but you somehow will enter the coaster. I also have no idea what the border between the alien and this area is going to be, but maybe here we can build something, I don't know, some shops maybe, or like the street. However, for today, the coaster itself. If you Google Back to the Future, you mostly see blue and orange. And since we already have two kind of orange yellowish coasters, I think blue is the better option. This kind of color. Then let's do apply to all pieces and see what that looks like. See, that is maybe a bit dark. Let's see if this looks a bit better. Yes, definitely. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, then the trains, of course, will have the orange then to make sure it still looks like the branding. Here, and some yellow highlights in there. There. That actually looks quite nice. I like it. Besides, orange and blue go together very well, so there's no problem there. Since the landscape here is going to be relatively flat, I am going to already do the supports. In general, the idea for today is simply finishing the coaster itself. So there you have it. And since we now can copy stuff, this is a lot easier too. Let's begin with something like this. The bottom will of course be concrete like so. And I don't know what the supports color is going to be. I just know it's going to be steel. So for now this is fine. And I'm also going to add a bunch of these bolts like so. And then we already have a pretty nice looking base. Then I guess let's begin right here. I'm of course using reference from an actual boomerang. So just so you know, that way at least I know it's kind of realistic. And let me just put two of these underneath here. Now that of course looks a bit strange, but let me just fix that using some fatter ones. And then copying the same thing on this one. It is so easy now, dude. And one of these guys right here. I did make them gray just now. I don't know, it just seems a bit nicer, a bit more clean. Let's, by the way, in the meantime, make this grass. Just so when we're building, it looks a bit nicer because the stone isn't really that nice. Now, of course, we also need some of these smaller supports down here. I'll fix the length later, don't you worry. And on each end of the support, I add a blue element that is the same color as the track. There you go. That looks pretty sweet. It's a bit more realistic than just a pole, so that's nice. By the way, I want to try this thing which I'm convinced just doesn't do much, but I want to explicitly ask you guys this time to like the video. I just want to know if that somehow boosts the algorithm, so please like the video. You can also leave a comment about what your idea is for the name of this ride. It's obviously Back to the Future, maybe something around the DeLorean, I don't know. So please leave a comment about that down below. Our boy Teachman just helped me make this coaster even better. First off, at the end here, there's a chain lift now, and it kind of breaks at the end, so it doesn't go all the way back up there, which isn't really all that nice. So as you can see, it just looks a lot better now. Check this out. That whole thing is honestly not even that bad. Now, the only thing left to do today is, of course, the backside. It's completely unsupported. And similarly to the speed of sound in Wallaby, I actually would like to make kind of like a tube. It goes inside, only in a style that fits the theme a little bit better. See, kind of this idea. It's obviously solid, but you get the point. Then to make the entire tube nice and round, I'm just gonna do the same spherical effect. Here you go. Now, I'm not sure if this is gonna be the final texture, but it is gonna be something like this because I'm gonna have the same style as the actual clock tower. Just seems a bit nicer to me. And then we just have to extend that. Or wait a minute, actually first, what if we already added those windows to it? That looks like trash. Never mind. It does need some of these edges on it. That seems a bit more realistic. And this one we just have to put on there a few few times like this. And now we can grab it and copy it a few times like this. This will never not be satisfying. Look at that. Then right next to the track, of course, we do need that ladder. That is kind of a must. Here you go. And just like that, you have to make this go all the way up. And of course, we do have to make sure this is actually attached to the track because, you know. And maybe a fence around it like this is a bit safer, let's be honest. Almost forgot, but here we go. So now if you sit inside the coaster, it will look something like this. Wait for it. A little longer. Almost. Here you go. Pretty badass. And then all the way up until you drop. Whee! And now what we just have to finish is the supports for this giant structure, and then we should be ready. And once again, I'm taking inspiration from the original rides. And I should be able to copy this entire structure here to the other one. Just have to kind of make the angle work. And finally, I have to connect the back side of it like so. And then here at the end, I feel like there should be some type of thing, like a compartment of some sort. I don't even know. But then, well, I feel like that is pretty much it. It's nothing too crazy, of course. It's just a coaster itself, but this is definitely a good start. The tube I'm gonna decorate later because it depends on how the rest is gonna look. I will kind of theme it in that same style. But then for today, I feel like that is pretty much it. Once again, if you have any ideas, let me know down below in the comments. Oh, this is interesting. And then I am going to log off for today. If you like this video, make very sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell not to miss a single future upload, and then I hope I'll see you in the next episode of Building Benny's Movie Park 2.